Hi, how's everybody doing? I just wanted to get on for a second to talk about young women and drugs. If if you have gotten on your own and you've gotten involved in drugs, don't try to go it alone. You being addicted to something is well, like they say in AA meetings, that alcohol and other drugs and that kind of a thing are cunning and baffling. You think you got it. Sometimes you can think you got it licked. You can go a few days without it and you try to do it more. And next thing you know, you're off on a deep tantrum. And it's best to get help as early as possible because drugs will take over your life. And anything that you've seen take over somebody else's life, what makes you think it won't take over yours? It will if you don't get help. Um, when somebody offers you a life preserver, I know when I say life preserver, when they offer you help in when they offer you help in finding mentors or support or some type of meeting that's made for your particular situation, you need to think seriously about using that life support, that life raft, because I know a lot of people who are on drugs don't have a lot of people who's really trying to help. You don't have a lot of people who love you. Don't nobody, there is no, not really, I can't think of anybody who has a whole bunch of people who only have your best interest at heart, because most people want you for what they can get out of you, whether it's sex, money, um, just to use you for a place to lay their head. Uh, there are many reasons that a person will befriend you or pretend to be your friend, and there are some people who will even spend money to fool you, to make you think that they're your friend, but they really not your friend. And when I say that a person, when you come out from under your parents' house, or whenever you think you big enough to come out here in these streets, you have to realize that game is being played. Even if you're not coming out in those streets, even if you just dating, games are being played. And it's just a matter of whose game are you willing to play. And when I say games, that don't mean that when you meet somebody you just automatically start telling any old random lie. It means that the game that a person should be playing, if say for instance if it were me, the game I would be playing is I want to get to know that person, because knowledge is power in everything you do. You need to know that person. You need to know everything about that person before you lay your heart out to somebody. I need to know, I'm just saying, if it were me, I need to know how a man reacts in any situation. The first thing that I want to know about a man is he abusive? Will you hit me? I want to see how you react in stressful situations when you're under stress. Another thing I want to know is, how do you treat your mother? How do you feel about your mother? That tells you a whole lot. And even if a man has a lot of sisters, how do you treat them? What do you feel about them? Um, I need to know, what is a man's intentions? What are you looking for a woman for? What do you need her for? Do you know? Do you know what a woman is for? Do you know how to use a woman? Not misuse her. Do you know what a woman's use is? Hmm. I used to want to start a dating service. It's something in me that just wants to start a dating service. But being a married woman, I don't think that that would be appropriate at this time, unless my husband agreed. But anyway, you have to know what a person's intentions are. You can't just say, "Ooh, this person cute, so we already agreed that we just gonna be real. We ain't got to worry about no games." Because I tell you, anybody can say they real. What makes you think what comes out of somebody's mouth is the truth? People can lie. Everybody didn't go to church like you. Everybody ain't even trying to be truthful out here. People are trying to get what they can get. And if you have parents or grandparents who are older or up in age, appreciate them. Don't run from them. Appreciate them and respect them. Um, they're not going to be around forever, and your little family pool could be diminishing. They could be leaving out of here. And just because you've gotten on drugs and they not, that don't mean that they don't understand about drugs. If your parents or grandparents have been living to be 60 years old, do not, even in your small mind, think that they don't understand life. Don't think that they don't know how a person on drugs are looked at, how they're sized up, what people think about them. Once you get yourself on drugs, oh, people have less respect for you. If you can't keep yourself off drugs and live a life that you want, people lose respect for you. They're going to lose it if you get on drugs, if you get on alcohol, marijuana, all that stuff. If you dating and you dating for marriage, you can't even let a man know that you get high. You're not supposed to do that. You don't even let a man know you smoke cigarettes. If a man take you out on a date and you need a cigarette, you need to smoke that you got to control that stuff first of all if you're going to smoke cigarettes. And if you're going on a date, then you have to smoke your cigarette and then get in the shower or the bathtub, take your bath, and then put on your clothes, and don't let no smell of smoke be on you, because a real man don't want no smoking woman. Smoking ends your life quick. Smoking not good for you. And if a man wants you, he don't want you to smoke. A real man don't want you to smoke cigarettes. And a real man don't want you to drink alcohol and talk random stuff. You just don't. And you're going to lose out. If you are young, if you are 24 or 25, those are the best years of your life. It's the best you're going to ever look. It's just, that's a woman's social capital. So therefore you can't spend it drinking and smoking and getting high. You wasting your life. You wasting every damn thing. You just wasting. And not only are you just wasting, You killing yourself. With drugs and alcohol ain't but two things that can, it's three. It's three things that could happen. You could die, go to jail or prison. Those are only two. Die or go to jail and prison. You can't you can't keep living. You can't stay alive. And people who do exist and still do drugs and alcohol, they look pitiful. They look bad. It ain't no joke. You wasting up your life. And if your family pool is dwindling, if you think that you are committing suicide by getting high and you figure if I get high, then I'll get to see them, you sadly mistaken. We don't know what the hereafter is. I don't know nobody who have died and came back and told me. I've heard of near death experiences, and I used to believe those. I don't know anything about it. But you don't know anything about when you die. But I'll tell you one thing. If you got family who died and you're left here, let's switch it around on the other foot. Let's say you died and the family who died is still here. Believe you me, ain't nobody they would not be trying to cut their life short because you died. They're going to live the best life ever. The best tribute you can give to a person who already died before you is to live a good life, to do your best. Do you think that your loved ones would want to know that you'd back here on earth getting high? That's the stupidest thing you can do. That's like having a tire on a car and just slashing it and misusing it, and it's not going to be worth anything. You try to drive it, it's going to go flat. You get high, you're wasting your life. And so you should try to see about going to some kind of a drug program or something like AA or NA or something of that nature. You got to get it. And then there, I think those counselors, people who are your support, what do they call those people? People who, let me see. Anyway, you get somebody who will be your support person when you join NA. You can get two or three. I know when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a sponsor. That's what they call. You can get a sponsor, and sponsors are better, in my estimation, than counselors who really don't know what the real deal is as far as being on drugs. They can tell you a lot from books and stuff like that. But when you a drug addict, people gonna misuse you. They don't think of you as nothing because they figure you don't see yourself as nothing, or else you wouldn't be letting yourself do that stupid crap. I'm just keeping it real. So drugs just ain't where it's at. Drugs, and I'm gonna tell you something else. Drugs, alcohol, and then there comes food addiction. And that's where I am right now, is food addiction. It is hard, sister or brother. The way this world is set up, you can go in a grocery store, all of these bright colored packages. I wonder how much money do they put into packaging? A lot. And it seems like it's a whole lot of different companies in the grocery store when actually It's only about two, let me say about altogether four companies own all the foods that's in that store. And food addiction is hard. Like going to restaurants, getting those great big juicy cheeseburgers. I don't want to get into that, but those great big juicy cheeseburgers come from diseased cows. Or when you go get those pizzas or the tacos and taking pictures of them like you're doing something grand, and really you not, that's something else that's killing you. You I've been eating wrong for the last 2 days, and I can feel it in my joints. I can feel it in my fingers. I can feel it in my feet from eating salty food and all grease, cheese. Um, no good for you. So you got three components. You got it four: marijuana, drugs, alcohol, and food. You can't fall off into that food addiction. If you fall off into that food addiction, you could come up with strokes, heart attacks, um, getting diabetes, and they got to take one of your feet, or, it's really sad. And with food, you can get cancer. So you have to watch everything. You can't, sometimes people get off drugs and turn to food and then get all big and stuff, and then you really not going to be appreciated either that way either. But you get more disrespected from being on drugs. Don't do it. And if you on it, get off of it. Do whatever you have to do to get off of it. Get off of it. Make yourself ashamed for being on it. This is me talking. I don't represent Narcanon or whatever that stuff is called, NA. I'm just Ginger. And I wish people wouldn't sell drugs in our neighborhood. I wish that people had more pride about our black people and, loving each other and appreciating each other more. And for God's sake, not family. Wow. But drugs are very unneeded. You are love and you are loved. And the things you do when you're on drugs, and you misuse yourself, you misusing every person who really do love you. They go through something too. So drugs just not where it's at. And like I said, your family could be dwindling down smaller and smaller. And as they leave, you don't need nothing to hold you down. You don't need no drugs to hold you down. Food, alcohol, cigarettes. Get off the cigarettes. All that crap takes so much of your money. You might have to spend some nice money eating right, to eat the right way, like eating your vegetables. It might end up that they cost a lot of money. You might. But your body is worth it. What you put in your body is definitely worth it. And drugs and alcohol cost so much. I mean, your rent could be paid, all your utilities paid, and then you could have a few dollars left over. But if you hooked up on drugs and all of that mess, all your extra capital goes toward drugs. That's where all your money going. Think about it. You say you can't get off? Think about a time. Think about Think about how you were before you got on. You weren't born on drugs. Think about when you were 12, 12. You didn't have drugs. You didn't have cigarettes. You didn't have none of that. You got to stop it, because if you don't have no family here to help you out in a pinch, if you don't have family here to hold your money for you to keep you from buying drugs, if you don't have family to feed you and give you some food when you're running out of food, yeah, what are you going to do? Selling your body, that's a very bad thing to do, because if you sell your body, oh God, that's the worst thing you can do, because when you let a man enter your body, it ain't, women not made like men. We can't do that. If you let a man into your body, he's leaving his spirit there. And the less men you have, the better off you are. Because every man that enter your body is leaving something there. You're too precious. A woman is way too precious for that. Why would you sell your body for something that you shouldn't even be doing? If you selling your body, you should feel ashamed of yourself. And I know Narcotics Anonymous or whatever it's called say beat yourself with a feather. Beat yourself with a chain if you selling your body, because you should feel used. And the man who does that knows he's using you. They're tricking you. He can't give you enough money to enter your body. You shouldn't be proud of nothing like that. I'm not saying that you have to stop everything that you're doing right away. It takes time to get off this stuff. And I'm not saying that you have to go to college and change immediately, because I don't even think I do. I put a lot of stock in entrepreneurship. I think if you could start a business that that is needed, or if you could join with somebody whose business, you need to be reading. You need to get up on stuff. Not, you're not hip because you sell, because you take drugs. That don't make you hip. Sometimes people are squares and they just trying to be hip, and they talking about, I'm living that fast life. It's fast. Their life ain't fast. You ain't you headed nowhere fast. That ain't cute. Yeah, nobody envies a drug addict. You don't hear no kids saying, "When I grow up, I want to be a drug addict." Nobody wants you around if you're a drug addict. People think drug addicts steal. People laugh at you and talk about you and say you ain't crap. We knew she wasn't gonna be nothing. The best revenge you can get on a person, the best revenge that you can hold against a person, to show a person, is success. Now, having been on drugs, I was listening to Cardone. He told on TV today that he used to be a drug addict, and he said it took a lot of energy to be a drug addict. Grant Cardone. He said it took a lot of energy to be a drug addict, and because you had to go find drugs, you had to talk people out of drugs, you had to do a lot of things to get drugs. And he said when he quit drugs, he put that same energy into entrepreneurship. His name is Grant Cardone, white guy. So check him out. The same energy that he put into getting drugs and getting high and all of that. He put it into getting money and helping others. Try it. I love you. Take good care of yourself.